Kyrie chiming in, hashtag NBA. Hey, Chase, Anthony Davis looked really rusty last night. Any concerns that him and LeBron won't have enough time to get in rhythm for the playoffs? Kyrie, that's a great question because for me, I do have some concerns about the Lakers' health with the NBA playoffs kicking off on May 22nd. We look at a team like the Brooklyn Nets. Kyrie, James Harden, and Kevin Durant have played a total of 7 games together. So I'm really worried about a team like that as we inch closer to the NBA playoffs. Not as worried about the Lakers because they just won a championship with their core last year, and they're led by LeBron James, who in my opinion is the best player in the NBA right now. So I'm not overly concerned, but I do think that the Lakers need to get 10 games in together as a core unit to really find some semblance of rhythm and consistency prior to the playoffs. Grade your level of concern with the Lakers right now and scale it for me from 1 to 10. Several weeks ago, it would have been at like a 4. Now, maybe I'm teetering in the 5, 6 range. I think anytime you have LeBron James, you're in a good spot. He's still the best player in the NBA. Next question coming in from Scott Marquise. What moves does Boston want to make right now? Well, right now they can't make any moves because the NBA trade deadline is passed. They can no longer bring any players in through the buyout market. Scott, maybe you're asking what should the Celtics do in the future? I think looking ahead, if they're able to bring in a big man who kind of has a well-rounded game, a guy who can stretch the floor, kind of like a modern-day big. Even if it's like a player like Miles Turner, I'd like to see the Celtics go after a big who can kind of hold the fort down low because for the next few years at least, you're looking at going up against big men in the Eastern Conference, the likes of Joel Embiid and Bam Adebayo, and I don't think the Celtics have a big man on their roster right now that in a 7-game series, a guy can stop. Franco Leonardis chiming in. Lonzo to OKC rumors are heating up. Do you like the fit, and could it be a sign and trade? It could be a sign and trade because Lonzo Ball entering the offseason is going to be a restricted free agent. So basically how that works is the Pelicans can offer Lonzo Ball a contract, but so too can another team. And if another team offers Lonzo Ball a larger contract than the Pelicans can either match or Lonzo Ball can leave. As far as him going to OKC, I don't love the fit. I like what OKC is doing right now. It's a silent and clear tank to me, and they have some good young players on the roster. They're certainly building for the future. I'd love to see Lonzo go to a point guard needy team like the New York Knicks. That would be my destination for Lonzo Ball. Dom Towney, does Atlanta get Derozan or Oladipo in free agency? If I go one way, I'd go DeMar DeRozan. I still think at this point of his career, he has some gas left in the tank. He's a really good pick and roll player. He's a good pull-up jumper. Never been a big three-point guy, but I do like DeMar DeRozan as a veteran fit for a really young Atlanta Hawks team. Oladipo, not really sure about that. I'd rather go DeMar DeRozan. Tony, 2 times. Do you think teams should not underestimate Boston and watch out for them upsetting big teams in the playoffs? Tony, I'll tell you this. I think the Celtics are a really dangerous team come playoff time. They made it to the Eastern Conference playoffs last year. The last couple of years, they have had playoff success. And it's easy for us to forget that Jayson Tatum is 23 years old. Yet, he's like right in that conversation of being a top 10 player in the league right now and has been playing like an MVP. So I think Boston, because Tatum's been playing like he has, because you have Jaylen Brown, one of the best coaches in the entire league, and Brad Stevens, I think the Celtics are certainly dangerous when the playoffs come around. Shamar Bassett, biggest Western Conference dark horses. Anytime you have Damian Lillard, that's a team that can make a run in the Western Conference. There's no doubt about that. So I like the Portland Trailblazers. I like the Golden State Warriors as a team that can make a sneaky run. Imagine if the Warriors do well in the play-in tournament. They get that number 8 seed and then play the Utah Jazz, and Donovan Mitchell isn't 100%. Could you see Steph Curry putting the team on his back and carrying the Warriors in the playoffs? The Warriors are a team that I'd certainly look out for as a dark horse, as well as the Portland Trailblazers. Next question coming in from Alize. Is it Alize Johnson who's playing for the Brooklyn Nets right now and playing really well? He just earned himself a contract? Maybe. If so, appreciate you hopping on board and joining the show. Say the Wizards don't make the playoffs or exit early. Do you think they'll try to trade Bradley Beal? And what would you give up to trade for him if you were running the Warriors? Hashtag NBA great show. Appreciate that, Alize. So as of right now, Bradley Beal has not demanded a trade out of Washington, even though they've had so many playoff shortcomings and have lacked success in previous years. Until Bradley Beal makes it known that he wants to leave, I think he's going to continue to stay with the Washington Wizards. If he does demand a trade and say, look, I got to get out of here, we just didn't either make the playoffs or were exited early, I want to be traded, I think the Golden State Warriors would be a fascinating team. And if I'm Bob Myers, I would think long and hard about putting together a package that consists of that Timberwolves top 3 protected pick, which is unprotected next year, as well as James Wiseman. I would part with those two pieces to bring in a player like Bradley Beal. I'm not sure Beal is a bona fide number 1 player, even though he's averaging 31 points per game, but can you imagine him next to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson when healthy? Fireworks right there. Are you down for a Bradley Beal to the Warriors trade if that speculation starts to heat up? And, hey, maybe it does. And if it does, you know we're going to cover it here at Chat Sports. Get into the comments, hop on board, type T for trade or type P for pass. NBA Now is brought to you by our friends at Newsbreak. I'm really excited to tell you about one of our key partners here at Chat Sports, and I'd appreciate it if you downloaded the Newsbreak app by going to chatsports.com/newsbreak. In doing so, you would support Newsbreak, but you would also support us here at Chat Sports. So on my phone right now, of course, I'm tuned into everything going on. I'm subscribed to all of our channels here at Chat Sports, and I kind of monitor all the videos that go out. And I also have to stay up to date with everything happening in the world in sports and outside of sports. And on one single feed on my phone, I can get all of my local news and weather here in Dallas. I just moved here so I can get acclimated and familiar with the politics, pop culture, and food. And the good thing is, sports content is also available on the Newsbreak app, and we have several channels on the app as well. So you can either kick it with us on YouTube or go on the Newsbreak app and catch our Chat Sports content there as well. Desmond Dipper with the next question. Yo, Chase. Yo, Desmond. What it do? Do you think Jayson Tatum is a top 10 player? Interested in getting your thoughts. Over the last few weeks, Jayson Tatum has certainly played like a top 10 player. And producer Jeremy, who's doing his first NBA Now show today, recently I put together my list of top 10 players. So if you can kind of get that up, I'd appreciate that. Jayson Tatum is close for me to becoming a top 10 player, and I'd honestly think about putting him at number 10. Here are my top 10 players right now in the NBA as we record this on April 23rd. I still have LeBron James as the best player in the league, followed by Kevin Durant, even though injury concerns have haunted him over the last couple of seasons. Steph Curry, still one of the most valuable players in the league. He's my third best player. Kawhi Leonard comes in at number 4. James Harden is 5th on my top 10 list, followed by Joel Embiid, who could be in that top 5 conversation given the way that he's playing this year. Giannis, Jokic, Damian Lillard, and I have Jayson Tatum in there at number 10. Some of you might be thinking, Chase, you're crazy. How could you have Jayson Tatum in there ahead of a guy like maybe Zion Williamson or Bradley Beal or a whole list of other superstar players? For this reason, if I had Jayson Tatum on my team right now in the playoffs, it's my firm belief that Jayson Tatum could carry me to the conference finals. I think he is that good. And also, in putting together this list recently, I found it nearly impossible to put together a list of top 10 players in the NBA right now. That's great news for the league because there is just a litany of talent all across the league, making this list to put together almost impossible. So for everybody watching right now, what do you think of my top 10 players in the NBA list? You can be honest with me. The one thing I appreciate about our Chat Sports viewers, they are passionate, they are honest. If you think this list is great, type G. If you think it's straight up trash, that's fine. You can type T for trash. I can take the heat. I can get down with it.